Alright, what's up guys? So, I know I uploaded a video earlier in the week. I wasn't sure if I was going to upload another one. But I ended up uploading another one anyway, so... Today I talked about the Shenlong's build, which is currently topping leaderboards. It's doing a lot basically for the meta and advancing it a lot. Rather, I'd want to talk about today the Powerfarming set on another side, because the Uliana set offered a lot of speed, it offered a lot of power. It was a very fun set to play in the beginning of the season, except I could never find a Fist of Az, and the first one I found was actually this one, which is really good, I thought. But it's got low EP explosion damage, which isn't that great. But get over that for now. So I'll be talking a little bit about it and my Kanai's choices. The Kanai is what I want to go over first, just because this is important. More than anything else, actually. So first off, use Flow Eternity. It does reduce the 7-side strike cooldown by 60%, which is insane. It basically makes that way your 7 sides up every few seconds. Now the Mad Stone is something you absolutely need for this set, because it allows your 7-sided strike to apply. It applies and detonates the EP. So basically every single time you 7-sided strike, you're basically just gonna like one-shot mobs. And we're on T8 here, so I also use the Avarice Band. Excuse me, I have a cold, which sucks. Really does. Anyway, the Avarice Band is something that we use in unison with the Gold Wrap, because the Gold Wrap gives us armor per gold we pick up. Now the reason this is useful is because it increases our gold and pickup. It basically does increase pickup radius. Nobody cares about health globes. Maybe witch doctors, maybe. Anyway, but yeah, it increases pickup radius. It allows you to grab the globes as you're going through. It allows you to get more money, I guess, if you need it. I don't know. If you're starting out in this season, yeah, you might be low on money, but you probably have more priorities than getting an Avarice ring in your Kanais. Anyway, so a lot like the U6 set, you are using the typical like 6 pieces that you can get from the U6 set. Some of their stat priorities don't really change that much. You're still looking for ancient pieces, you're still looking for stacking resist on secondary is one of the things you absolutely have to look out for. So my helmet, these are the ideal stats you're looking for. So physical resist is the ideal stacking res that you want. You have dex, crit chance, and EP. EP damage is very important. Your shoulders, typically you want a pair of shoulders that does have dex, vite, percent life, and then CDR with a physical stacking res. But I've never seen shoulders without all res, especially not with a stacking res. So these gloves I found recently, and they're insane. They've got crit chance, crit damage, dex. The rolls are pretty like middle of the park. Dex rolls really low. We got the 80% CDR and 205 cold res, which is amazing. Got some pickup radius, which honestly is not gonna make that much of a difference. And then so this is typically what you want to look for in an FNR. You want dex, crit chance, CDR, and socket. On the other side, you can get crit chance, crit damage, and CDR. I haven't found something that insane. And you want stacking res on your secondary. I got life after kill, which is actually completely fine for the power farming set. And then I found this squares not that long ago. It doesn't have stacking res, but it's got crit chance, crit damage, and cold. So I thought this was pretty insane. Gundos, once again, stacking res secondary. You want elemental damage, main stat, vite, and crit chance. Pretty tough to find a good pair of Gundos / spear guards. So this is the first pair of spear guards I ever found. Mediocre. Same with my second ring. I've never found a better restraint than this actually in all the time I'm playing. It does have stacking res, which is good, but it's got crit chance, crit damage, and dex. For my CDR, I have 54%, which is really good. You'll see more when I actually do the rift, how vital it is basically. Your top, you need dex, vite, and then you can either get percent life or elite damage or reduce elite damage. The one thing that I've found is I have very little life. And I only use this character for speed farming, so I haven't quite figured out how to fix that issue yet, but I'll figure it out eventually. Now with this, you want, honestly the Go Wrap's going to give you all the tankiness you need, but like Dex, Vite, Regen Life, and Percent Life, and then Stacking Res is going to be ideal again. This one you can get, this is basically the ideal stats you want, because I don't think armor is that useful on this setup. So Dex, Vite, Regen Life, and then physical resist. Just getting the extra recovery is really useful. And then boots. The one thing that you can get that a lot of people recommend is you get Dex, Vite, Armor, and EP damage, because you can just spend your Paragons, your cores to get that 25. But I have my 10, so I'm just not using it all. And the weapons, you want an Ingeome because every time you kill an elite pack, it's going to reduce the rest of your cooldowns by 15 seconds, which is kind of misleading, but basically just gives you a crap load of CDR. You don't need to know any of the science behind it. All you need to know is you get CDR. Yeah. And Lion's Claw, my Lion's Claw sucks, but still Lion's Claw either way. I guess ideal stats for weapons, you want CDR on both, and Dex. Percent damage is fine. I don't know. These are basically two that I found, so I'm just throwing them together. Like, Spirit Regen sucks, but and my weapons really do suck on this character, but for this you want movement speed until you hit that cap, and you want Dex. Basically you just stack the Dex all the way up. This you want, I actually went CDR, crit damage, and crit chance, and then I went attack speed, because CDR is just super vital for this build. All-res, life, armor, and then regen life. Regen life you can take over percent life if you want, it makes no difference. Once again, you won't be lagging too much because you're not doing super high density Shenlong's rifts, so area damage, resource cost, life on hit, and gold find is completely fine. I went resource cost first because area damage is kind of bugged out right now with the U6 set, life on hit not that useful, and gold find. Okay, now we actually get into a bit of the gameplay. So the first thing to note is that when you enter the rift, some rifts are automatically going to have significantly better, like, get a cave. That sucks, because caves often enough suck for density. But you do still want to be using your Wave 100 Fist to proc your, I believe it's the Focus. I don't remember. Anyway, but you want to be using all your skills off of cooldown, because every time you kill an elite pack like that, we're going to get an Ingeome proc, which we didn't get there. I don't know why, I've noticed Ingeome seems to be bugged. Normally, oh, there we go. I don't know what's up with that. But you want to be 7-sided striking the mobs, picking up the gold as you go, you're one-shotting mobs, pretty simple. Nice. We'll roll that after to see what we get. Alright, pools of reflection are always good. As you can see, I'm not, like, this is T8, I'm having absolutely no trouble just insta-clearing these mobs. I do still stop for Death's Breaths, and having to go all the way back. That really sucks. Man, it was cold as hell today. Canada, getting that cold weather now. There aren't a whole lot of times where you will have where you're gonna have a significant amount of downtime for your 7-sided, but there are times where you will no matter what. You can live with it. As you can see, I'm clearing this pretty fast. Unfortunately, if I got on like a graveyard or something, like was it one of my barb video? I got a graveyard and I just cleared it in like minutes basically. Because the graveyards have like crazy amounts of density. Okay. There's nothing too complicated to this build, you basically just keep spamming 7-sided, and keeping Epiphany up is really good. It gives you a lot of tankiness. You can see my toughness is like astronomical just because of all the gold I pick up. You can see over here how much gold I'm actually picking up. They're like getting to the mill stacks. Okay. I actually don't, the one thing I didn't really prioritize that much, I have it on my squirts but nothing else, is gold find. I don't like prioritizing it for a gold farming set because, oh, okay, they're crappy. Normally mobs do drop enough gold as it is, so, especially on higher torments. Also, the other thing to know with this setup is you can, because it is designed to farm, like, these little rifts and such, you can probably, I've done it before where you can power farm, Stephen Moulton, where you can power farm a greater rift 45s-ish, or so, like around 40-45 is what you can power farm with this setup. It's really useful to know that because leveling gems early on can be a pain. Especially from 1 to 25, but you can blast through this as long as you have a little more tankiness than I do, and obviously you're switching off the gold wrap for the mythic rhythm. Or the binding of the lost. Gosh, mythic rhythm's the passive. Okay, so something like this has relatively good density, and you're almost always going to find a lot of mobs. You never really want to stand around for mobs, but it's not that bad if you, like, stop for half a second. As you can see, I do have a power shrine, but even still I'd be like one-shotting these mobs anyway. Density in this rift is just awesome. Wow, potion. I don't know about you guys, I remember when potions first came out, like the legendary like bottomless potions, when you still had to buy potions from vendors, otherwise you ran out. like how rare they seem to be. I never got one until, well, basically until they start introducing the extra potions and such. Like my first one, my friend gave me when I was doing stuff with him. Rift Guardians are almost never hard. I didn't really talk about my skills. I'll actually do that after. I completely forgot to. Skills seem like such a mindless thing that everyone knows, but when you're explaining, when you're trying to like learn a setup and how to play it, it's definitely good to know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Because this setup, the entire idea behind it is you are focused around just jumping around. You're focused on going really fast and just killing stuff. Because you finish it pretty quick. I got a few legendaries here and there. So you still use like 7-sided strike, sustained attack. It just has the most cooldown. It's by far the best one. Get a sim. It doesn't actually matter what you run here, to be honest. Where's the... is it Breaking Wave? I see some people run this. Like it honestly doesn't matter because you're almost never hitting 3 times unless you have downtime. Still using Impending Doom for the extra. Like it's the highest damage. Like if you look at the other ones, it does like, because the base is 2700 and this one does 63, so it's by far the most damage. If you're in a multiple group, or if you're in a group with multiple people, make sure to use this one because they take 20% additional damage for 9 seconds whenever you EP. And if there's two Uliana's monks, then your EP doesn't stack over each other. So something to keep in mind. And then we have Dashing Strike, Wave, Falling Star. This one gives you movement speed after using it. Damage turns to Holy. That honestly doesn't matter. Still using Desert Shroud. I see people use whatever the hell they want here, to be honest. It's nice to have Desert Shroud because it's by far one of the best monk abilities in the entire game. Annihilation, so every time you kill an enemy that's near you, you're going to proc the Annihilation proc, and it's going to give you more movement speed, which is awesome. You can get momentum. So every time you dash, or every time you move from mob to mob, you're going to get extra damage by 20%, which is good. This one, Determination isn't that great, but there's no, like, you're basically just looking for damage passives. There's nothing else that you're really using that's good enough to replace it, so, I mean, you do occasionally end up in the middle of a bunch of people, so it's pretty good. Harmony is pretty standard on almost every monk setup, and Beacon of Yatar. And then the 3 gems I'm running, Bane of the Powerful, as long as it's about a minute, you don't really need to level up more. At least I don't see a reason to. Boon of the Hoarder, you do want to get at 50 because there's a 100% chance for an enemy to drop it, so every time you kill an enemy, they're going to explode in money, which is awesome. Everyone loves making rain. Movement speed also. And then Bane of the Trapped, probably is one of the best overall gems in the entire game. Now that I've actually talked about everything, because I forgot to go through that in the beginning, that's basically all I have to bring you guys today. I do have hopefully a new project coming out this weekend. I do plan to upload at least twice a week, but I'm not sure what my schedule is yet, at least in terms of uploading and when I'm doing such, because there is some weekends I'm not even home. Either way though, thanks for tuning in. I will catch you guys next week. I'm not sure which one of my characters I'll do next. I do have a few other characters that are geared, at least to 50, or greater 50, sorry. Maybe I'll go over some of them and explain how they play and what they're doing, but who knows. Until then, have a good night.